Coming up in the Michigan Football Report, does returning starting quarterback Shea Patterson have some competition to keep his job? Who's big mad this spring for Michigan football? And how hot is Jim Harbaugh's seat heading into the 2019 season? We cover all those topics here on this edition of the Michigan Football Report, live from New York via the Chroma Key Express train. Let's go! Welcome into the Michigan Football Report. We are back for the second week in a row, and we are also on Instagram. You see at the bottom of your screen the new Michigan Football Report Instagram page. I told you I was at 100 followers last week, almost 500 right now. And if you wait for a little bit later in the show, we're going to have a big giveaway when we get to 1,000. So make sure you follow us. All the best scoops on Michigan football are on the new Michigan Football Instagram Report, Michigan Football Report, Instagram Report story. I am James Yoder, the undisputed king of Michigan football media, WBA, WBO, heavyweight champion of Michigan football media. Let's get in to the Michigan Football Report pre-spring football rumors roundup. Our first rumor, this is what you guys are talking about out there on the internet, the Twitter sphere, and what some sources have told me, and this is my first FACK Yoder scoop of 2019, so you know it's well sourced and comes very highly assured that it is going down like this. We have a quarterback battle, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Gattis, Michigan's new offensive coordinator, came in eyes wide open, no predetermined notions of who's going to start at any position. Made sure everyone knew they were fighting for the job, including quarterbacks. And although I still think Shea Patterson will start game one of the 2019 season, for Harbaugh heads, FACK, that they are neck and neck. Shea Patterson, Dylan McCaffrey, for the Michigan football starting quarterback. And I think everybody thought after Shea Patterson's 10-3 season, but a 10-1 start to the year, 10 straight wins after that Notre Dame loss early on, looked good, didn't go to the NFL. We saw his draft stock tank a little bit, and he was going to come back and be the undisputed, unquestioned leader of this 2019 Michigan football team. Josh Gattis, a spread system, 3 and 4 wide. Coming in, new offensive coordinator, no ties to Shea Patterson like maybe Pep Hamilton, maybe even Jim Harbaugh did, given the season they put together last year. The senior transferred from Ole Miss after the 2017 season, 6'2", 205. Really nice season, not an all Big Ten season, 2,600 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 7 picks last year. Returning for his senior season, let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Shea Patterson and Dylan McCaffrey, the measurables. Dylan McCaffrey, much taller than Shea Patterson, 6'5" versus Shea Patterson, 6'2", 217 pounds. Now, Dylan McCaffrey broke his collarbone, I believe it was the end of the Wisconsin game. I might be missing a Penn State game, one of the games late in the year. I can't remember exactly which one off the top of my head. Nevertheless, 217 pounds versus 205. So Dylan McCaffrey, taller, a little bit bigger, but Shea Patterson is a lot thicker, looks a lot stronger. Dylan still has a little bit of a boyish body, really skinny. No career starts. He appeared in 6 games last year. Shea Patterson, 23 career starts, 45 touchdown passes for Shea in his career, to only 2 for Dylan McCaffrey, returning to Michigan for his 3rd year. He is out of the state of Colorado. Clearly, everyone knows the backstory of the family. His brother, Christian McCaffrey, superstar running back in the NFL, Heisman Trophy runner-up. 2015 season, I'm guessing 2015-16, probably should have won it the year he did. 8 of 15 last year, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns passing. Then I believe he had 1 long touchdown running and another one that was called back for a penalty. So what showed his ability to move around on his feet. But the story, right before we get into the spring practice tomorrow, whatever you want to call it, the spring practice, the spring scrimmage that you'll see from the Big House, 5 o'clock Saturday, Dylan McCaffrey, Shea Patterson. I think Shea has the starting nod with the ones just for right now, only because of his starting experience. But as far as performance on the field, they are neck and neck. We see Shea Patterson, the #1 quarterback recruit in the 2016 class. Some people said a year ago, hey, next year's draft, which would be now, Shea Patterson might be the #1 pick in the draft. He's going to go to Michigan's offense and be the next Andrew Luck. Didn't turn out that way. Saw him struggle in a kind of an antiquated offense. We see guys like Baker Mayfield, and then, of course, Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, these wide-open offenses. The pros want to see you throw 40, 50, 60 times a game. Shea Patterson returning, certainly not the NFL prospect he once was. Maybe not even going to be Michigan's starting quarterback as the season progresses, although I do believe he will be the starter for game one. So keep an eye out. If you're going to Michigan Stadium tomorrow, keep an eye out for this one, because my sources have told me Dylan's played better most of the time, but Shea still had his glimpses. So I want to know from you guys. I think Shea's going to be the starting quarterback for game one. No question about it, just because you got a really strong Army team in game two, the experience. But as the season goes on, Dylan gets his spots in the game. Who is going to be your starting quarterback the end of the year? The only one that matters in 2019, the Ohio State game. Type SP for Shea Patterson below. Type DM if you think the end of the year, not the beginning, the end of the year, it'll be Dylan McCaffrey. I want to know from you guys. I'm kind of torn in this one. I'm telling you, I am kind of torn. Want to know from you guys. Type below watching on the new Michigan Football Report YouTube channel, youtube.com/Michigan TV. That is the word on the starting quarterback position. You remember last week, we were in Delaware. We took the Chroma Key Express all the way to Delaware. We stuck around the East Coast. Where we're at now, we are in New York, baby. Check this out. Look at that. It's the Empire State Building behind me. Hold on a second. Sir. Can you take a picture of me? Thank you. Oh, hold on a second. I got a selfie in here. We are in New York. The Yankees are playing tonight. I'm taking the whole Michigan Football Report team out to the Yankees-White Sox game. So I told you, the show went so good last year. We're dominating the ratings. We just have the budget to take this bad boy anywhere because of our new Chat Sports Michigan Football Report transportation, the Chroma Key Express train. It'll take us anywhere we want to go. I'm in New York, baby. So let's keep it moving. The Harbaugh head rumor explainer. We're known for this bad boy. We invented the Harbaugh heads, but some of my enemies, the haters and the losers, of which there are many, use it against us. Like, we're coming up with this stuff. Zero Harbaugh heads. If we give a story, zero Harbaugh heads, totally false. Fake news. One Harbaugh head, small shred of truth. Two Harbaugh heads, people are talking 50-50. 3 Harbaugh heads means there's a source out there, not confirmed. If we go to 4 Harbaugh heads, you know it is a James Yoder, Chat Sports, Michigan Football Report exclusive story like the one you just heard on Dylan McCaffrey, Shea Patterson, FACK. That is how Jim Harbaugh spells it. That is how we spell it here at the Michigan Football Report on the new Chat Sports Michigan Football TV YouTube channel. Please subscribe below. You know you want to get these videos every time we publish a new one. We're putting them out Friday. We're gonna have a couple more for you next week, getting some depth chart action following the spring game. All right, Chris Partridge, Michigan's mid to late 30s safeties and special teams coordinator. Why is he so mad? He is big mad, all right? I'm giving this one 3 Harbaugh heads. It's pretty likely. Why don't I give it 4 Harbaugh heads? Because I think there's a little bit of showmanship going on here. I think Michigan, unfortunately, is trying to win the offseason again. We're so mad at Ohio State. So Chris Partridge talked to the media this week, and he was spitting mad about this graphic we're going to have for you coming up. Greg Mattison and Al Washington. The story broken by yours truly, James Yoder, back in early January. My #1 tweet of all time, I believe. 300,000, 500,000 impressions. That the blog boys and the pay sites said was fake news until it actually happened. Al Washington, then Greg Mattison, left Michigan's program, the defensive program that gave up 62 and 41 points over the last 2 games, went to Ohio State. Look, Mattison, you want to say he's a Michigan man, 3 different head coaches, all that different stuff. Left to go to Notre Dame one time to be a DC. Left to go to Ohio State, over 20 years later to be a DC then. He's kind of a Benedict Arnold. What did we expect? You let what's the saying? You let a fox into your hen house, and there's a saying like that. So that's the saying. You can't expect anything less from Greg Mattison, given what he's shown in the past. Come on, folks. He coached under Urban Meyer at Florida. You know he's a little shiesty. So what do you expect? He's going to leave, get a big-time job, big-time race, and a coordinator title from there. Al Washington gone. So what are you so mad about, Chris Partridge? Let's take a look at the quote, and then we'll show you the video right afterwards. The quote from Michigan special teams coordinator and safety coach Chris Partridge. I want to be candid, he says. I want to be candid on the players, on Mattison and Washington. These guys, talking about Mattison and Washington, they left for Ohio State, and it was another shot. I think he's making a shot at the program. It wasn't okay. Mattison made his bed. He's got a lie in it. So here we go. All right, here we go. What are we going to have, 63 points this year? Then he says, I've got blood in my mouth. Chris, did you bite your tongue? What happened there? Or did you eat Mattison's ear off? I'm not sure what blood in my mouth means necessarily. The guys who left for Ohio State, that's not okay. This is Partridge on the coaches leaving for Ohio State. So he's big mad. The kids are saying it on Twitter. They're saying it on Instagram. Now Yoder, I'm incorporating into my show. This is what Chris Partridge, we got the quote, we got the video from Nick Baumgardner for you right here from the Michigan Football Report.
Yeah, I got blood in my mouth. I mean, there's no qualms about it, you know. So yeah, for me, the motivation is how last year. I don't wake up a day and not think about it. That's for sure. I know Don feels the same way, and I want to be, I want to be candid. You know, those guys left, and it was another shot. You know, it wasn't okay. You know, that's how I feel. I'm not speaking for anyone else. So I'm ultra motivated, and I make sure my guys that I get in front of, they hear it, and they know that every single day when I wake up, I'm motivated. You know, I wanna take this thing, I wanna hit it in the mouth, and I wanna, go get it. You know, and so I just think each person is motivated their own way, but I just know my personal opinion. I'm gonna coach harder than I ever imagined I can coach. I'm gonna be more aggressive than I ever have been before, and we're gonna try to make sure that scoreboard never looks like it did last year.
All right, Chris. All right, some big talk there. You're mad these guys left for another job, but as one of the producers of the show said as we're putting this together, Chris, you're going to leave someday. I doubt you're going to be at Michigan forever unless somehow you become the head coach in the next few years. So don't be too mad about it. And by the way, you gave up 62 points. You gave up over 40 to Florida. Michigan coming off, averaging 51 points down the stretch on defense. Maybe it's a good thing you got rid of some of those coaches that suck, because this program hasn't been able to compete. You're stuffing in a Brady Hoke win in 2011 with an Ohio State interim coach next to 2 7-game losing streaks. Last 4 years, the Jim Harbaugh tenure, the tenure that you've been there, Chris, it's been a lot of off-the-field winning, a lot of national championships in the offseason, the headlines, the great shows like the #1 show, Michigan Football Report, reporting on what you're saying, but not a lot of action. You can't go into the final game of the year, 2 of the last 3 seasons with a chance to go to the playoff and not produce, and then be big mad when it comes to guys taking a job. They always said, my daddy told me when I was a boy, you can't beat them, join them, okay? I couldn't beat some of the people that were in New York, so I came to New York, baby. I'm in New York. And Chris, I want to see on the field from you this year. No more talking, no more press conferences. Win on the field, and then you can do all the talking you want. I haven't heard a peep from Ohio State coaches this offseason about anything to do with Michigan. So that's my take there. Partridge, he is big mad on Ohio State and the coaches leaving the program headed to the Buckeyes. I want to remind you guys, the Michigan Football Report has our own YouTube channel. I call up my guys. We know the founders of Google and YouTube. They're Michigan grads. I said, guys, I need the Michigan TV name. Michigan, or YouTube.com/Michigan TV belongs to this show now. Subscribe. If you're watching the video on YouTube, of course you are. It's right there. The button's one of these sides right here is the button. Just click it. You'll know every time we have a new show. Once a week now. Might be getting up to 2, 3, maybe even 4 times a week. Depends on how many subscribers we get to this channel. I want to know from you guys, thinking about Ohio State, thinking about the off-season national titles, the 0-4 record that Michigan has against Ohio State. Is Jim Harbaugh coaching for his job against Ohio State in 2019? If his name was anything other than Jim Harbaugh, and you're 0-1 against Notre Dame and 0-4 against Ohio State, is he coaching for his job in 2019 at home against a first-year coach with a returning quarterback, all Big Ten quarterback, in Shea Patterson? If he keeps the job, type Y for yes, type N for no. I might have to say yes, kind of, as a joke, because technically his job is to coach for Ohio State, so he is coaching for his job. But I want to know for you guys, in all seriousness, if he loses, is that putting him on the hot seat no matter what else happens? Yes, Y for yes, N for no. Let's keep it simple in the comments below. Let's keep this bad boy rolling. Were there only 2,000 or 3,000 fans in the stands for Michigan's open practice last week? I want to know who the ad wizards and the press guys were for Michigan who decided to come up with this idea for an open practice and then not tell anybody any information about it, okay? Michigan hosted an open practice last week where anyone can come and basically sit front row for Michigan football practice. And the word was 2,000 or 3,000 people, but there are pictures out there. By the way, 2 Harbaugh heads on this one. People are talking. I wasn't there, but I have a few friends who were. They sent me some pictures. I saw this picture out there on the internet. This looks like 25 or 30 people to me. I don't know about you guys. What does that look like to you? This is not like an hour beforehand. This is dead in the middle of the Michigan Open practice. And that is a sad state of affairs for this team because if Clemson, Ohio State, hell, even Michigan State probably would draw 15 or 20,000 people. So I don't think it's lack of interest from you, the Michigan football fans, on this. I kind of think it was a really poor job in the marketing department of Michigan football to let people know how, when, and where they could go and see their beloved Wolverines play. But you've got another opportunity. You have one more opportunity this spring. Tomorrow, or if you watch this on Saturday, today, 5 o'clock from the Big House. It is free, and I've been told that people were able to kind of just bring in coolers with beer and stuff like that. It wasn't that big of a deal last Saturday, not much security, in a good way. You can bring in some food, some snacks, but don't take my word for that one this Saturday. 5 o'clock, watch the Wolverines. It will not be televised because they did not put it in practice format. So it's just a kind of a 7-on-7 in a normal practice. It's not like in a spring game format. So if you want to go tomorrow or today, if you're watching Saturday, 5 o'clock from the Big House, admission is free. And I want to know from you guys, are you attending the spring game? Because I'm looking at my stats here. I don't think there's much interest in the spring game at all because they're not actually doing a scrimmage. You see Clemson do one of these bad boys, they're getting 60, 70, 80,000 people. Same with Ohio State, same with Alabama. I don't know why Michigan, who wants to win the offseason headlines, doesn't put more emphasis into the spring game. So let me know below, yes or no, are you attending the Michigan football spring game Saturday, April 13th, 5 p.m. from the Big House? Hey there, Michigan football fans. Thanks so much for watching the Michigan Football Report. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've got Michigan football news, rumors, recruiting information, and inside access to the Michigan football program. You ready for another Michigan football video? I got you hooked up right here. Go Blue.